Downtown's really the showpiece, I would say, of Raleigh. And they're really designing downtown to be a place where you can live, work, sleep, and play. That's DuPont Circle. They have these little bungalows. And they call this a shotgun style house because it just goes straight back. You see all the little houses up there. Everybody's crammed into this area, but people like that. Raleigh is one of the hottest real estate markets in the entire country. I can tell you as a Raleigh native, downtown Raleigh was built for growth. Downtown Raleigh is at the heart of this market. I'd say right now we're pretty much in the heart of the warehouse district, and you can see the train station right over there, the place where people would stand. I've had people take the train here from DC, New York. But you can take it to Cary. You can take the train to Durham. The train's pretty neat if you don't want to drive. Like most major cities, Raleigh is trying to reduce its carbon footprint. I would say that conversion process really starts downtown. I've left some link in the description below for the Google Maps I've created for downtown Raleigh. These are really the only areas I would focus on because the other areas are residential, way off the beaten path. There's absolutely nothing doing some of those areas. Right here to the right, Red Hat Amphitheater. That's our convention center. And this is a cheerleading competition coming in. So we got so many different things going on the weekends and so forth. Where you're going to find all your conventions and stuff like that. Durham, I would say, is second, then Cary. But if you're looking at places to live, Holly Springs, Apex, Fuquay, Raleigh's the hub, and there's really no comparison between Raleigh, Durham, and the rest of them. If you're planning to visit Raleigh, I would say downtown area is going to be your best place to stay. And I'm going to give you 3 recommendations for the end of the video on places to stay. Make sure you stick around. Right now we're in the Fayetteville Street District, and I would tell you Fayetteville Street District is really the heart of everything in Raleigh. This is the district where you're going to find tallest buildings, the most density. This is also the area that they close off. Fayetteville Street will be closed off. It runs all the way from Memorial Auditorium all the way to our state capitol, which is at the end down here. This is where we have the New Year's Eve party. This is your main district. This is the big one. And you can see Boogaloo, if I'm saying that right. That's going to be the festival that's it opens at 1. Actually kid friendly. Last night was ticket only, and you got to sample all these craft beers that won't be here today, supposedly. But I think there's going to be over 100 craft breweries here for this festival. So a lot of people, because if you don't know, craft beer making in general is really big in North Carolina. We're known as one of the top areas. And Raleigh's definitely one of those hubs, Raleigh and Durham. Asheville, Charlotte. Today's event's free. You can buy tickets so you can taste beer. I think you get a 3-ounce pour. It's not even started yet. Everybody's getting set up out here. The Capitol down at the end, all these breweries. This used to be the tallest building in Raleigh right here. It's got the Capitol City Club in it. Wells Fargo building down there took its place. Now it's the PNC building. Anyway, lots of vendors here. We're right in the heart of Raleigh. I think it'd be hard to imagine staying anywhere else other than the Fayetteville Street District. If you're planning to do things downtown, Fayetteville Street is home to over 50 restaurants. Cool Steiner and the Raleigh Times, those are 2 local favorites. Lots of food trucks. See Memorial Auditorium at the back at the end. I think it's really cool that Raleigh as a city gets together and they have events like this. Cool place to live. Just kind of gives you an idea of what Raleigh's like, what we're all about. Got a really good vibe. There's Trophy Brewing. Trophy Brewing's local brewer. And you see that building, the red building? That was Briggs Hardware. So that's one of the old historic buildings. And Boylan Pierce used to be a department store. Great vibe down here for sure. Here's a setup where one of the bands is going to play. And right behind it, you see the Capitol building. That's our Capitol. That alone should tell you that Raleigh believes in stuff to do. One of my favorite things about living in Raleigh, location. And that means proximity to the beach, the Piedmont area, Charlotte, convenient for transportation to go to DC, New York, Atlanta, Florida, fly anywhere you want out of the RDU airport. Those, at the end of the day, are critical components of what makes Raleigh a really awesome place to live. Right next to the Fayetteville Street District is Moore Square District. This is where you're going to find a lot of entertainment, live music. You got quite a few venues in here for live music. Not as dressed up of an area as the Fayetteville Street District. I mean, it is approximately 1 block off, 1 street away. This is going to have a little funkier vibe to it. I would say more similar to the Warehouse District, but the Warehouse District's also going to be totally different. There's Raleigh Times. All those people sitting out. So the Raleigh Times, part of the News and Observer originally, and that was, I believe, the morning paper. You had a morning and an afternoon paper. And so that's where it started right there. You can see the Red Hat building right there. See how this area is a little funkier? These brownstone looking places. Different vibe down here totally. And we're approaching the Go Raleigh Transportation Center. So this is bus hub right here. See all of them in there. If you want to take a bus somewhere, you can catch it. I will tell you, taking a bus around Raleigh, probably not going to like it because it takes a long time to get anywhere. Not very efficient because Raleigh's so spread out. I think Raleigh all in total is about 147 square miles. So big area. And the bus is convenient for really getting you to the high density areas, but even those are going to take a while. This isn't like New York City or something where you're going just down one street. It takes a long time. Now we're at Moore Square. This is the Moore Square area. Really neat area. Like I say, it's a block off from the Fayetteville Street District. Marbles Kids Museum, really popular for the kids. When I say kids, I mean 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 adults. Kids get to play. It really is for the young kids. So this is Moore Square, and this whole area was totally renovated, redone, grass and so forth, whole square area in the last couple years. And this grass area serves like an amphitheater, and there's a little restaurant down there. And that's Person Street on the other side of that. All those cool, hip little restaurants are right down here. Let's check them out. Restaurant here, Brewery Bavana, super popular. Vidamonda, 2 highly acclaimed places. Beside that, at the Poorhouse, an awesome place to catch live music. A really cool area in Moore Square. I said 1 block off is Moore Square in the Fayetteville Street District. You can see the blockades, barriers up there. It's Fayetteville Street where they're having that beer festival. I'd say Moore Square is probably one of the oldest areas in Raleigh. Oldest neighborhood where it would have all started would have been the Capital District area and Mordecai, Oakwood. But look at these streets right here, cobblestone streets. This is called City Market. It's actually a little bit hard to walk on these streets. They're so uneven. But you won't find this anywhere else in Raleigh. And then here you'll find Woody's at City Market and Big Ed's. Big Ed's is a breakfast place. Woody's is like a little sports bar. Really cool places. Big Ed's right there. We'll get something to eat. And there's other restaurants here too. You can see City Market and sushi. But just another look at these streets. Super old, super cool. Like nothing else in Raleigh for sure. And you can see Moore Square up there with the umbrellas. Dick's Restaurante. Like I say, just a funky little area. Cool shops, good vibe, right downtown. Little art gallery. Just got a little bit of everything here. I don't know if you call it the lights that are draped up for at night. Really good little area. It's got some townhomes here at the end. We're right off Blunt Street. We're still in Moore Square District. It's not as built up as the Fayetteville Street District. And I'm walking down to show you right now Lincoln Theater. Lincoln Theater it's going to be a lot bigger venue than the Poorhouse. Poorhouse is super cool. The Lincoln Theater accommodates more people. And then of course Red Hat Theater is even bigger. And that's right in between Warehouse District and Fayetteville Street. So let's do it. Cool area. Fayetteville Street District, I'd say, is the safest area, but when you get over here toward Moore Square, it starts getting not as built up on the fringes. And when you look at a map of downtown Raleigh and it shows you all these places, you just have to realize that it's not all downtown for sure. And you want to really stick with the districts that I've got on the map if you're new to the area or you're visiting. So this is Lincoln Theater. I've seen some really cool acts here. And it doesn't look big, but it's pretty large. And that parking lot's for Lincoln Theater customers at night, but you can also pay to park there now. Royal Auditorium would be right over there, the other side of that building. We're really at the edge of downtown, so to speak. As we walk right through there, and that little walkway, put us right in the middle of Fayetteville Street District again. If you're coming here and you're from out of town, you're visiting, Fayetteville Street District's got a lot of things to do. Going out, restaurants, bars, nightclubs. Warehouse District. Moore Square is good, like I said, for the live music. And Glenwood South is really the #1 place for restaurants and bars. That's a good restaurant right there, Jimmy V's, Steakhouse and Oyster Bar. There's so much to do if you stay right here on the Fayetteville Street. Other Earthbird right there. Big Boss, Bombshell. This might be the prime area right here. There's going to be another live music act right there. This all starts at 1 o'clock, 12:20 right now. I just want to show you where you're at, what to do, where to stay. If you're visiting or moving to Raleigh, you'll have some idea. Now, I will tell you, if you're Googling Raleigh and you're looking at hotels, obviously these are going to be more expensive on the weekends. I've heard the rates are really reasonable during the week. But remember, the proximity is on top of everything. So you've got built-in things to do where you don't have to drive anywhere. Always got things to do. Some of these other hotels that you'll find advertised for Raleigh, you're looking on a map, they might not be far away. There's nothing to do at some of those places. And that's the reason they're cheap. When I say nothing to do, there's nothing to do. Some of them aren't even in great areas of town. You really get what you pay for. You need to remember that. That's my tip for you. If you're coming here, you want to get the most out of your trip to Raleigh, and you got to stay in good areas. There's a lot of things to do, or you're just going to be sitting in your hotel room. That's going to suck. Another look at the Red Hat Amphitheater. That's the convention center. Fayetteville Street's back there. So there's two parks downtown, Moore Square and Nash Square. Nash Square in between the Warehouse District and the Fayetteville Street District. And that's where you would find News Observer Building. News Observer Building, that was our paper, started in the 1800s, old paper, when social media and everything, all that came along. Obviously, the paper lost its relevancy, and they don't need this prime real estate anymore. So this area is going to be reconverted in its entire city block. This is going to be a really massive project, the News Observer Building, that will once again continue to reshape downtown. And Nash Square sits directly across from that building. Here's Whiskey Kitchen at Nash Square. That's a super popular place. People around here really like that noise. If you like it, give the video a thumbs up. But that's their outdoor area. And that's Nash Square straight across. And that's the old N&O building, News Observer. And again, it's almost a city block. Imagine it'll be torn down. Whatever they put there is going to be really amazing. There'll be things to do there. There'll be places to eat, places to stay. There'll be apartments. There'll be hotels probably. People like that. See these old established oak trees? Raleigh's nickname is the City of Oaks, which is funny because the longleaf pine is actually the state tree and was instrumental in our early start. And that's actually why North Carolina, the nickname is the Tar Heel State, because of the tar and resin that were harvested from the longleaf pine. That was used in shipbuilding to make them leak-proof in the early days, as well as preventing shipworm. Nash Square, that's our police station right there. And then on the other side of Nash Square, that's going to be the Warehouse District. So right now, we're actually in the middle of downtown because we've got Warehouse District over there in Boylan Heights. You see the Bloomsbury building. Fayetteville Street's over here. Capitol District straight ahead. And Moore Square's on the other side of the Capitol. Moore Square's on the other side of the Fayetteville Street District. And Glenwood South is right over here. Got a lot of these maps all around that you want to find where you're at. We're right here. It's easy to figure out though. We're in the Capitol District now. There's our Capitol. Raleigh's done a nice job with all these signs that kind of tell the old history of Raleigh. The Olivia Rainey Library. There's a lot of history in Raleigh for sure, North Carolina in general. But I would tell you for the most part, the Capitol District is going to be a popular place for tours. You got the Capitol Building, of course, State Legislature, Governor's Mansion. There's two museums, North Carolina Museum of History and Natural Sciences. Kind of a boring area, honestly. If you're looking to go out, bars, things to do, this district, the Capitol District, is where you're going to find a lot of the government jobs. 27% of the state government jobs are located in Wake County. And I would say the majority of them, highest concentration of all those jobs, right here in the Capitol District. There's an old church, really cool. That's our labor building. And remember, the Fayetteville Street dead ends at the Capitol for that big beer party just right back there. Raleigh's the City of Oaks. Look at all those oak trees in there around the Capitol. I don't think there's any other tree except for oak trees. There'd be a longleaf pine, but I don't think there is one. Now, right across the street from the Capitol building, we've got the legislature. North Carolina Museum of History, Capitol building, right there. At the end, that's our legislature building. Again, where the State Senate and House of Representatives meet. We're gonna go down to the end here. I'll show you where the Governor's Mansion is. And then we'll move on to Glenwood South and end at the Warehouse District. Right there, Museum of Natural Sciences. And they've got things to do out here today because their festival that's going on, the big draw. You know, everybody's going to stay at the beer festival. Plenty of people are going to come down here. We've got kids. Go to the museums. Museums are cool. They've got air conditioning. It's kind of hot today. So there's the legislature building right there. Really cool building. And there's a lawn area with a tunnel that crosses over the street. They're designed well. And the building in between Governor's Mansion and the legislature building, that's the North Carolina Library of Archives. So as you can see, there aren't any restaurants and there's no things to do around here. No places really to stay in the Capitol District. It's going to be for museums I was telling you about, plus, you know, the attractions that are in the state capitol. North Carolina Archives of North Carolina Office of Archives and History is a tongue twister. But if you look over here, you see the PNC building. And I think this is really like a government parking lot, so it's got all that space for parking. One of the big things builders are getting now is they're getting a lot of tax relief when they're building their parking garages. They're building them into the buildings, and so they're getting a lot of height restrictions eased. That's one of the benefits of Raleigh versus Cary. You've got a lot of tall buildings, 40-story buildings. I think will be something that will happen soon. Right now, PNC building is our tallest building, but if you're going to have a high density of people got to have some tall buildings. And I guess the amendments to the Constitution were, Bill of Rights was ratified here, November of 1791. History for you. It's our governor's mansion. You know, when we had all the recent protests or whatever, like everywhere else in the country, there's a lot of activity out here. This is what it's really like. It's really a pretty cool area. That's the governor's mansion. See the longleaf pine in there? A long time for those longleaf pine to mature. Those trees can live to be 400 plus years, on up to 500. And we used to have in the South 90 million acres longleaf pine. And that would be all the southern states. Now there's only like 4 million acres. I want to watch a video about what it's like to live in eastern North Carolina and see some of our ecosystems that are here. You should check out the video that I did recently on Hardison Farms. So look at the legislative building. On the other side of the legislative building, straight across, that's actually the Seaboard district. And that's an area that really kind of connects Mordecai and Oakwood to downtown. But I wouldn't really consider that downtown growing up. I mean, it definitely is now, but there's some really cool things in there. Logan's Garden Shop, which has recently been sold, but it's still there for a couple of years, is one of the neatest garden shops in all of Raleigh, I think. But you've also got a bunch of restaurants in there like Crawford and Son, Standard Food. They're really good. You've got, there's a bakery in there, Yellow Dog Bakery. That's a good bakery. Rooster's Ice Cream. A lot of good places to eat there, but it's also a great place to live with Oakwood and Mordecai. A little further, not a little further, it's further, and Boylan Heights. Boylan Heights is going to be your most convenient neighborhood to downtown, 100%, to things to do in downtown. Boylan Heights, you're on top of Glenwood South, the Warehouse District, and the Fayetteville Street District. And Moore Square, that's within range too. So all the districts that really have the districts with the most things to do. And don't get me wrong, the Seaboard District is nice, it really is, and there's going to be plenty to do there. But with the Capital District in between, kind of disconnected from the rest of downtown in a way. So it's not as convenient for sure, unless of course you work in state government, in the House of Representatives, or you're a North Carolina senator, then probably walk to work. But other than that, just a regular person, you want to go out to eat, probably not going to be able to walk there. That's a look at the back side of the Museum of Natural Sciences. It's where it crosses the road, McDowell and Jones Street. That's a pretty cool little walkway to go across. I did that the other day on my video on the Capital District. If you're interested in that, check that out. I'll tell you all about the Capital District. I go inside the Museum of History and Natural Science, so you can get a good idea if that's worth a visit on that video. If you're trying to get to the Glenwood South District from downtown, say the Capital District or the Fayetteville Street District, be sure you go up to Hillsborough Street to connect. That'll be the easiest for you. All right, and so one of the ways that you can find Hillsborough Street is this round Holiday Inn building. That's actually recently been sold, and they're going to tear that down, but for now, it's here. That's actually the intersection of Hillsborough Street and Dawson Street. Hillsborough and Dawson. Look for that big round building. There's no other building like it here. It's also beside this building, Pindo. Not sure what that is, but beside that building, interesting to note, there's the Campbell Law School in the middle of downtown. It is the only law school in downtown Raleigh. That's pretty cool because you have access to all the courts and so forth. So I would say that's a pretty daggone good place to get your law degree. Consider that aspect. We're on Hillsborough Street now. Here's Taverna Agoria, a great place for brunch, a Greek restaurant. Warehouse District's going to be all over here to your left. Basically, Hillsborough Street separates it. So Taverna Agoria, and right next to that, you got Second Empire. Second Empire is a great New American style restaurant, really good food. And directly behind that, you've got the Quorum, which is a condo building. Got a lot of condos downtown. Eight of Beers across the street. On Saucer is going to be one block this way. That's a great place to grab a beer. They've got tons of beers on tap. Morgan Street Food Hall is also right down here. I'm actually going to cut down here beside Second Empire. You know what? No, I'm not. We're going to continue going down Hillsborough Street. Here's the Explorers Middle School right here. Pretty interesting to have a middle school in the middle of downtown. So the interesting thing about Glenwood South, I am going to turn here, where there's everything to do, somewhat disconnected from downtown a little bit. Here I'm taking the right here. We're actually going to have to walk a little ways to really get to the heart of everything. That's the Quorum straight ahead. That's the Reynolds Law Building, the church right here. And it gets a little bit challenging to walk in this area, to be honest with you, just to make this crossover. Once we get through here, we'll be in good shape. The Quorum's like 19 stories. Might be wrong on that. I think it's around 19 stories. This area is really nothing special, let's say, 10 years ago. In high demand. Super, super cool area now. Very trendy. Got its own style, kind of like the Warehouse District and the Moore Square District. That's another look at the Quorum there. There's a apartment building, Metropolitan. This big building right here to my left, several restaurants and bars in there. And one of my favorite restaurants we're coming up to is 42nd Street Oyster Bar. Classic restaurant. If you're visiting Raleigh, I would highly recommend it. Gonna have broiled steamed seafood, fried seafood, great oyster bar. I definitely recommend you try that. There's also a brewery straight across the street called Clouds Brewing. That's the West down there. Smoky Hollow is on the other side of West Building. That's a really cool area. Glenwood South is definitely the entertainment district of Raleigh, where you're going to find the most things to do of any area, in my opinion. And we have obviously NC State's right off Hillsborough Street, and also Meredith College. And you have William Peace University that's off Peace Street. So a lot of colleges in the area, which leads to a lot of business for these bars. This is Tobacco Road right here. That's a great sports bar located right across from 42nd Street. Got a railroad, of course, cutting right through the middle. Train tracks, it just adds to the nostalgia, right? There's the West Building right down there. A lot of entertainment stuff out here for sure. But you can feel the vibe here a little bit. It changes. When you cut down, I'm going to show you Smoky Hollow. That's Clockwork right here, late night place. You've also got Raleigh Beer Garden. It's in Glenwood South, just a little further down. And I think they have the world record for number of beers on tap. Pretty amazing place, honestly. Bar. Again, everything's walkable. And this whole tour, I've walked the entire way, so just trying to show you the easiest ways to get around. That's the West Building right there. I was telling you about 42nd Street Oyster Bar is right up here. So you're a block off of Glenwood South. And here's Smoky Hollow. And just on the other side of Smoky Hollow, you've got a brand new Publix grocery store. You've also got a brand new, you can see Peace right there, a building with a parking deck, high-end luxury apartment, proximity to everything. Just a great area. And of course, across the street is the area I mentioned, Seaboard District. The Carolina Ale House is really not that whole building. It's the top floor where you see the terrace up there, our top floor. Great place, highly, highly recommend it. Really good food, tons of TVs, great place to watch games. But if you get down here, let's say within one block of Carolina Ale House, you got everything. You got Smoky Hollow to the right. We are at the Ale House, and just up from the Ale House, going toward Peace Street at the Raleigh Beer Garden. There's somewhere that someone that's coming here and you want to go out and see what Raleigh's all about, see what the nightlife's about, the restaurants are about, well, then you absolutely have to go to the Raleigh Beer Garden. It's a place that's really like no other on it. You've got a Hampton Inn right here in Glenwood South. If you want to stay in Glenwood South, then this is the area for you. This is where you need to stay. It's connected to the beer garden. Up here, you've got the Raleigh Beer Garden, and you've got the Mellow Mushroom, and you got Mojo's Burgers. All three are really popular. Stay at the Hampton Inn, you'll be able to walk to them in 2 seconds. Here's a look at the beer garden right there. That was all the beer garden. Mellow Mushroom, great pizza place. If you take Glenwood South all the way the other way, we're going to run into Boylan Heights. That's what we're going to do. So if you're enjoying the video, make sure you smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to learn more about Raleigh and where to live. In the middle of downtown, in all these districts, you've got condos and apartments. But on the edge, all these areas, you're going to find townhomes and you're going to find really cool neighborhoods. And this is the Hibernian here, which I definitely recommend as a place to go grab a sandwich, have some drinks. This is Sushi Blues Cafe. Super cool area right here. This area is absolutely packed at night, and it's wall-to-wall people. If you're coming to visit, it's an area you're going to want to check out if you want to go out. A wine shop, Vietnamese cuisine, modern Mexican restaurant. Get to Hillsborough Street, still be right at the edge of Glenwood South. We're going to roll into Boylan Heights, the warehouse district, on the other side of Boylan Heights. I want to show you the way the neighborhood changes just one block off. Those townhomes right there, those are $1 million townhomes. $1.5 million, $2 million, up to $2 million bucks. Super, super cool. They're all vertical. Really, really nice. There's quite a few of them. This is an option. You want to be downtown, you want to be near Glenwood South. This is a great area to live. It's going to have a different feel. The other areas, all the areas have a different feel. If you want to see a video on the best areas to live downtown, check out this video. Now, that's Hillsborough Street straight ahead. And right now we're on St. Mary Street, historic Elmwood, 1813 law office now. All these homes now are offices. I mean, they're all commercial property basically. Zoning's changed, super cool. Engineers, as the zoning gets changed, it only makes sense to convert them to offices. I'm gonna get something to eat here at a classic place called Char Grill. See, it's just right in the middle of everything. This is the Char Grill right here. We cook everything in there. Super cool, right across from downtown, Hillsborough Street. We're excited to get some food. One of the main attractions in Boylan Heights is the Heights House. Heights House was originally the Mumford House, and the Mumford House was the oldest home in Boylan Heights. In fact, he owned all the land in Boylan Heights, and it's recently been restored, and it's recently been named one of the top new hotels in the world. If you stay at this hotel, I think it's 9 rooms, boutique hotel. Husband and wife bought it, done extensive renovation. You can walk to everything in downtown Raleigh. This is a really new barbecue place called Sam Jones Barbecue. I recommend it. And that's the Fairweather. That's one of the newest condo buildings. Some of the best views in all of the city are right there. Right here we're passing Red Hat Amphitheater, and you can see the whole city right here. And that's the train station straight ahead. Contemporary Art Museum on the left. Father and Son Antique, super cool. This is the Dillon building on the right. And that's also one of the most Instagram spots inside the Dillon. You've got Morgan Street Food Hall. It's up here on the right. And that's the Morgan Street Food Hall. Flying saucer to the right down there, the white building. Well, I sure hope you've enjoyed my tour of downtown Raleigh. If you liked the video, please be sure to give it a really big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to learn more about Raleigh and where to live. I'll see you on the next video.